Before you can lead a team, a company, or a mission, you have to learn to lead one person first, yourself. It sounds simple. But in practice, self-leadership is one of the hardest and most important forms of leadership. Welcome back to the Lead Lab, where we explore what real leadership looks like, beyond the job title. Today, let's talk about the part of leadership most people don't see, and why leading yourself first is the foundation for leading others well. Let's start with a question. Would you follow you? If you weren't in your body, if you weren't hearing your own thoughts, would you look at your habits, your mindset, your decisions, and say, yes, I trust that person to lead me? That's the real test. Self-leadership means taking ownership of your thoughts, actions, and choices, even when no one's watching. It's about holding yourself to a standard, not because someone's checking, but because you care. And when you lead yourself with clarity, consistency, and courage, others begin to trust you more. Because they can see that you're anchored. Here are 5 practices that define strong self-leadership. 1. Know your values. What do you stand for? What principles guide your choices when things get difficult? Self-leaders are grounded in values, not just goals. They're not swayed by trends, pressure, or fear. They make decisions aligned with who they are, not just where they want to go. 2. Manage your emotions. Don't suppress them. Leadership isn't about always being calm. It's about responding, not reacting. Self-leaders feel everything: stress, anger, excitement, but they don't let emotions drive their behavior. They pause. Reflect. Respond with intention. That emotional discipline builds credibility, and keeps teams steady when things get tough. 3. Create internal accountability without external pressure. Would you still deliver? Would you still show up, stay sharp, and do your best? Self-leaders don't wait for deadlines or reminders. They hold themselves accountable, not to please others, but because it's who they are. 4. Commit to self-awareness and growth. You can't lead yourself well if you don't know yourself. That means asking tough questions. Where do I need to grow? What patterns am I stuck in? What feedback am I avoiding? Self-leaders aren't perfect, but they're honest. They stay curious, not defensive. 5. Take care of your energy. Burned-out leaders don't lead well, they survive. And survival mode rarely inspires others. Self-leadership includes knowing your limits, building routines, resting, and setting boundaries. Because leading well starts with being well. Here's the bottom line. Leadership doesn't begin with other people. It begins with you. With how you show up, for yourself, every day. If you're late to your own commitments, if you talk yourself out of every hard thing, if you drift instead of decide, people will notice. And they won't follow someone who doesn't follow through. But when you practice self-leadership, something powerful happens. Your words carry more weight. Your decisions are more trusted. And your presence becomes a source of clarity and stability. So if you want to lead others better, start here. Start with yourself. With your habits, your reactions, your integrity. Because the most credible leaders are the ones who live what they say, even when no one's watching. Thanks for tuning in to the Lead Lab. If this helped reframe how you see leadership, consider subscribing. And ask yourself this week, how well am I leading myself right now?